Hey, all right. You're listening to the Dead Man's Tome podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Deadman. With me is S.K. Barrett, a life coach that can unfuck your life if you'll let him. Also on the show is Larry from That Larry Show, who could also unfuck your life if you let him. So this is going to be
but you won't.
Oh, this.
No, I'm just saying. People are a lot of talk most of the time.
Oh, true. Most certainly. Okay, wait, guys. We got to be serious. We got a sponsor here. This show is brought to you in part by shockmylimpdick.com. A state-of-the-art, sophisticated way. Hey, you laugh, but this is serious business, guys. We got a serious sponsor, and if we joke about this, we're gonna lose that sponsorship money. Okay. Look, It's a state-of-the-art, sophisticated way to address erectile dysfunction. Do you guys have that problem?
Are you kidding me?
I'm just fucking with you. But if you did, they have this thing where they send shock waves, the sort of shock waves that they would use to pulverize kidney stones. And it causes your balls to vibrate in just the right way to, I guess, shake off the soy. Because we all know that ED is caused by a buildup of soy in the balls, right?
Really?
I think so.
I
don't know.
I don't know what the science is on this, but, just from personal observation, I think just thinking about soy can give you a limp dick.
Yeah.
I think you might be right there. And you know what? You don't have to take my word for it. No.
ED is just a synonym for disinterest, really.
Right. That's what that is. We're there.
But
there's an article on it. Urology Times. So check that out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Get out of here. There's a magazine called Urology Times. Really?
Apparently.
Yes.
And you can just go over there and contact shockmylimpdick.com and to find out more information. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get down to business.
I mean, honest to God, aren't hot chicks just the time-tested cure for ED?
Of course.
Right.
Or as I like to call them, pointy chicks. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Hey, how did you guys find me? I'm always interested in how people find my show.
Well,
what was the path?
I'm a fan of the Dick Show. I'm a dickhead.
Okay, that's it.
And that's out.
All right.
And also Nick Rekieta. I had Nick Rekieta on the show a year ago, I think. And so that's how.
Yeah. All right.
I was like, we got to talk to this guy. And I figured SK is a take no shit sort of guy. I got to get another
Sounds
take
that
no
way.
shit sort of guy as a guest. This would be great. It'd be fun. So I think we got a few subjects to talk about tonight.
I really enjoyed your interview with John McAfee.
Oh, thank you.
McAfee.
Yeah. He's a wild man. He's a lot of fun.
Oh shit. Yeah, I've seen some Netflix shows on him, and he's just. Of course, they try and make him sound like a lunatic.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
I think there was a hit piece for sure. But he's an amazing guy. I mean, they don't make him like him anymore. Really, he's becoming extinct, which is sad. Those types,
And you don't do that kind of thing. You don't have guests on your show, which is really kind of a different way to go about it, I think.
It is. On over, I don't know, like 260, 70 episodes, including bonus episodes, I never had a guest because I was just so in love with talking to myself. But then when
why wouldn't you be? Right?
Why wouldn't I be? But, when McAfee, I think, I can't, how do I say no to this guy? I mean, this is fantastic. He's larger than life. And he delivered. The guy was a great interview. It really was.
Cool. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Really,
if the fucking CEO of Apple said, I want to be on your show, I'd go, let me think about it.
Right.
I really would, because he's a fucking snore.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's your name?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But McAfee, the guy's a rock star.
Right.
So.
Right. You got to have the legend on for sure.
Yeah. He is a living legend.
Man, I like how he talked about how he was able to evade or hack the devices and get the information to know if they're looking for him and all that stuff. That was cool. I like that.
Very cool.
So,
free laptop. Yeah.
So one question I start off with everyone is, who are you and what do you do? We kind of did that a little bit, but have fun with that question, man. Go to town with it.
Well, let's see. Who the hell am I? I'm Larry. I host a podcast called That Larry Show. It emanates live from a place called the Take No Shit Dojo in Los Angeles, California, the Belly of the Beast. And it's a mixture of stories of my own, of a little bit of current events. Sometimes it's never really political. The only political road or path I'll go down to is to say I fucking hate commies and they should all die.
Well, yeah.
But, you know, it's a
I
real,
mean, is that really a blanket sentiment, or
Yeah.
do you have exceptions?
well, you know, I've known a couple of lefties that I kind of like and I'm friends with. So yeah, there's some hyperbole built in there. But you know, on balance, 100 million dead later, it appears they're probably not too good for the species.
Well, but they didn't do it quite right.
How's that?
That's the argument every time.
Oh, right. Yes.
You're gonna do it
it's
again better.
Yeah, that's true. It's like you have.
If
if
do it, it'll be done right.
Yeah,
Right.
If you had the wrong cancer, if you had the right cancer, you'd love it. Yeah.
Let's try it again.
I've heard that shit. Yes.
Right, and you could still look at the countries where it failed. Right, it's right
Yeah.
there. But no, we'll do it again. Hell, I don't even think that's even politics at that point. That's just common sense.
No. It is common sense. You know, when I was a kid growing up in New York, a hell of a lot of my classmates were Cuban refugees whose parents fled Fidel. You know, and I got the fucking download from those guys directly. You know, a long time ago. So I know what he was all about. And then I hear that fucking pinhead Bernie. I heard a cut of him today on somebody. I think maybe it's Andrew Klavan's show. You know, everything he said wasn't bad. He gave the buses ran on time, and it was free education, and you know, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Let me ask you, what is your
Yes.
opinion on Hollywood?
Well, Hollywood. You know, I could rant for hours on Hollywood. It's it's not too far from where I live, and it's filled with the most avaricious and basically there's probably like 9 guys in all of Hollywood who have any real talent, and everybody else is just kind of a parasite. You know, they just sort of latch on to shit or bullshit. Really, that's a stone fact. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so bizarre and so crazy. You know, the thing, Hollywood has a very, the collective consciousness of Hollywood. It was interesting. I was in Vegas a little while back with my wife, and I said, you know, the funny thing is, in Hollywood, everybody in Hollywood thinks they're a fucking artist, right? But in Vegas,
Even the accountants.
They don't think they're artists. It's like, let's entertain you. Let's get you drunk. Mm-hmm. Let's entertain you and send you home happy. But in Hollywood, for some reason, they think that that's not enough. We have to somehow bend your brain or mold you or make you think long thoughts. Fuck that. I prefer the Vegas take on entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, that's and right there in a nutshell is what happened to Spielberg. He made entertaining movies until he decided he wanted to be important.
I guess.
And then he decided that making him quote unquote important movies was more important than entertaining people. And that was, his shit's just kind of pretty ordinary at best.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I rarely go to the movies anymore. And
I mean, why would you? It's like
why would you?
Regurgitated crap.
Yeah.
I saw the original already.
Right.
Yeah.
Man,
I mean, the best take on that was one of the studio moguls. I don't know whether it was Jack Warner or Louis Mayer. One of them said, this is going back to the 30s or 40s when some fucking pinheaded screenwriter was saying, "Oh, let's overlay a political message on this movie," and the guy in the corner office just had a shit fit, and he pulled this guy on the carpet and said, "Hey, pal, if you want to send a fucking message, call Western Union."
Right.
And that's correct. People don't want a fucking message. They just want to forget about their troubles for 90 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to get scolded, you can, call your mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's dead, but
Well, I mean, in general terms, I'm sure there's somebody.
And for some reason, Hollywood thinks it's their job to do that, right? Do you see it? Especially
they do.
We got to put messages in there. We got to make it sure it's this way or that way. Oh, and now of course it's like the women. They got to put the feminism shit in there. It's like, oh, how many action films are there now where it's just bony women that can kick dude's asses like with no problem? It's like that doesn't make sense. Okay,
laws of physics are kind of against that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, who knows if they're women, right?
Right. Right. It could be men pretending to be.
You don't know. You can't. Who knows?
Right. Right.
Maybe it does pencil out. I don't know. I'm not in wardrobe. I don't see the costume changes.
Scarlett Johansson's really a dude.
Oh wow, that would be tragic.
That would be tragic. That would be sad. That would be sad.
That really would. But.
And then they get woke to the point to where they're like, oh, we don't want you to watch our movie. We don't want like white men to watch our movie. It's like, okay, well then I just won't watch it then. I wasn't gonna watch it anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, wasn't that like some chick in a Kate movie? Which one was that? I forget. She said that.
Larson, Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Captain Marvel. Yeah,
yes.
That's good. It's always good to alienate your audience before they even try the sample a product. That's smart. I'll just bet the fucking studio loved that.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe look up the case study on Gillette before you start doing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
$5.6 billion down the tubes in 9 months.
Was that the tally, really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wow.
That has to sting.
Well, I played them. I did an episode on that called Larry Slashes Gillette, and the thumbnail was me as kind of like I guess it was a sort of a some kind of a fucking monster. Right? There was a guy a ghoul with a machete on his back, and it was kind of like Jason without the hockey mask. And I took them to task, and then on Twitter I dug up their I guess it was their head of marketing or something. I just kept pounding this guy nicely. It wasn't abusive or mean or anything. Hey, let's talk about this. I never got an answer. I can't imagine why.
What?
I would have had him on as a guest before Mac.
Sure.
But,
right.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
wasn't willing.
You just have to know what the fuck were you thinking would happen.
Yeah. Well.
But it's just like they don't think about the consequences. And when it does happen, they don't even accept the loss. They blame everyone else. When a movie bombs, when the Ghostbuster 2016 movie bombed, they didn't own responsibility for that. No, they blamed the men. It's like,
right.
Well, Hollywood is anti-responsibility, the whole industry.
That's true. That's very true.
I mean, the whole industry is geared towards not taking responsibility. William Goldman coined a term, or no, I think he just mentioned a term that they have. So when a movie is unexpectedly successful and they can't explain why, they dismiss it as a non-recurring phenomena.
That's it.
Meaning it's a mystery to us, and we're just going to ignore this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Goldman was a very great screenwriter, and
he was amazing writer. Yeah,
he was, and he had a wonderful
and a no nonsense guy too.
Oh yeah, there's no bullshit about that guy. And he wrote a great book that I read called "Which Lie Did I Tell?" Which he actually overheard some agent say that in a restaurant or something to his personal assistant. Which lie did I tell? Which is fucking perfect. And then he also said, the rule of thumb in Hollywood is, and this is absolutely correct, nobody knows nothing.
Right.
Okay. Which is, and the sick thing about Hollywood is that's not entirely true. Okay. The guys who have had their asses in school for 6 or 8 years, the guys, the DPs and the special effects guys, and all the guys who actually have to fucking know something to do
the manufacturing arm.
Yeah, those guys, they do know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, they're brilliant.
Right? They are brilliant. but unfortunately, they're not at the same pay grade at the cretins who think they know what they're doing, but all they have is a good line of bullshit. You know, your directors, your producers, they truly do know nothing, and they get away with it for they make great careers and always fail upward. You know, they fuck up and it's a bomb, and somehow they come back. It's very interesting, like no other industry.
It's pretty astonishing, and in the executive suites, they really do. They have no clue. They operate it at the level of a religion. They have articles of faith that they run the entire industry by that have no basis in any kind of formula or mathematics or science or anything. It's just a belief system. These things work and those things don't.
Yeah, I guess it is. But really, many outfits have tried to apply the same standards or processes, if you will, to movie making. Okay, Coca-Cola bought Columbia Pictures, then Sony did. Okay, Matsushita, the Japanese electronics firm, bought Universal. Before they did Seagram's, the booze company, right?
Yeah.
And all these
that would have improved things.
You would have. and all these fucking guys. First of all, they did it because they thought they'd get a chance to get laid by starlets. That was that was motivator number one.
Well, but did it work? I mean,
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I get a feeling it probably did. But the other thing was these guys, whether it was electronics or liquor, they were in industries that there is a process. Okay, you can, those formulas go back hundreds of years. How to make a good bottle of scotch or rye or bourbon, whatever the fuck it is. You can sit down and chemically analyze that shit and make the same great hooch batch after batch forever, right? And those guys thought, well, fuck, we're making boatloads of money doing this. We can do that. We can show those clowns in Hollywood how to do that. We can make a process, and that's where they all go wrong. Because there is no process. There is no fucking process to any creativity. I've written a bunch of books, and as soon as somebody says to me, where do you get your ideas? I know you're a process guy, because they come out of my fucking head. Nowhere else, okay? That's the only place I get them. Somehow, I don't know where they come from inside, which quadrant of my brain it is, but that's where they come from. And guys that do process for a living can't get their arms around that.
Yeah,
well, and so it's like art versus engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yes.
Or art versus MBAs.
Yeah, correct. Better still. That's better still. Yeah.
Which is where most guys go wrong with dating. They go at it from an MBA perspective when it's really an art.
Yes, they do. And there are a fuck ton of very creative engineers. I've known some engineers that were like shoot out the lights musicians. I mean, amazing. That's cool. But I've never known any MBA who could find his own ass with his both hands.
Right.
So there.
Well, they're definitely more creative than the shit that's going the higher ups in Hollywood. Shit, they don't know what the fuck they're goddamn doing. I mean, what other business runs like that where they don't actually pay attention to what actually works and just keep on doing the same shit, even though it's not working, man. Like, I mean, I guess
because they tell each other it's all stories they tell each other and they all buy into and they all believe the same bullshit stories.
Correct.
I mean, the rate of returns has to be diminishing, right? I mean, like, people eventually will stop going to see these regurgitated films and stories, right? I mean,
well, I think
it's getting worse all the time.
It appears so. I mean, the box office is definitely declining.
Year
over year, and I think I don't know. I mean, it's certainly a function of the material that they're offering, but then also. People, I mean, shit. I mean, who wants to drag ass out on a rainy night to, sit in a theater with somebody kicking the back of your seat?
Or spend $20 for popcorn.
Spend $20 for popcorn when you can sit home and, as they say, Netflix and chill. Right. So, I mean, Ricky Gervais, I mean, He started off by saying nobody's watching your fucking shows and movies, and he's kind of right. I mean, the whole thing is it's imploding. It really is. I mean, publishing went first, newspapers, long form novels, magazines, dead.
Local television,
gone. Radio, on its way. And will Hollywood be far behind? Well, in the current, I guess in the theater aspect of it, I guess. I mean, people always want entertainment. They're going to watch something, but I don't think I think in 10 or 15 years, nobody's going to be going to theaters. They're going to be making condos out of them.
They'll have to. They have to do something with them.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if you look at the friction involved, the economic and social friction involved in physically going to a theater is vastly higher than, flipping through Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Even, and all the theaters around me are converting to these, big reclining chairs. Right. Some of them have, you can order food from your seat and drinks and shit, but that isn't going to help.
No, it's
if you don't want to see what they're showing.
Right.
And it's still more expensive than just doing it at your house. Shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes, man, those places have like roaches and shit, man. Sometimes you go out there. Did I see a fucking rat? That was a goddamn rat. God damn it.
I had that once I was at a James Bond movie when I was in college, and a fucking rat.
Which one? You remember?
Shit, I can't remember. But a rat crawled into like a 16-ounce paper cup, and I guess somehow he got stuck in there. And for the whole fucking movie, there was a 16-ounce paper cup was moving up and down the aisle, scraping along like magic. It was fucking insane. God. And chicks were screaming and running, and it was very fun. Nobody's watching the movie.
No wonder you don't remember which one.
That's right. Why would I?
The entertainment was in the theater.
Exactly. Live. The floor show, literally. It's great.
Yeah, see, without theaters, you wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get that experience, right. Larry.
You're right. Maybe I should rethink this thing and start going to more movies and bait the fucking floors to see what kind of
go to the pet shop and buy a rat and turn it loose in your room.
Yeah.
I got a donation. I don't have anything to take shots of. I take shots for money. So I'm pretty much like a chick at a bar. People are buying me drinks. I have a beer. I'll just chug this. It's not even opened yet, so I'll just chug it. So
do it. Oh, good sound.
Yeah, I like that.
Sounds like a Pilsner.
What are you drinking tonight there, Jesser?
Oh, it's a Schanderbach.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, Jesus.
That's radio for you.
That was good. That was pretty epic. I like that.
All right. So Hollywood is a cesspool.
Yeah.
Man, and there's so much bullshit with it that we can get into. I haven't gone to.
I loved Ricky Gervais's monologue.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
I can't believe he had the guts to pull it off, and they let him do it.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to have guts when you're worth north of $100 million, which I understand he is.
I guess that counts as mad money.
Yeah, he's got his fuck you money in the bank. And letting him do. I mean, really, what have they got to lose? I mean, the Oscars for more than a decade, that the line graph of their audience looks like Niagara Falls.
Right.
So maybe the Golden Globes guys said, "Hey, fuck it, man. Let this guy loose and say what he does." And
nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, can you actually think of anyone who actually really watches that stuff on purpose to actually study it, to watch it for real?
Oh.
I can't think of anybody.
Not in 15 years, man.
No.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
It used to be relevant, but as again referencing back to William Goldman. He said, the Oscars are not about the best of anything. The awards have nothing to do with who is best in any category.
He's right. And then amplifying that would have been George C. Scott, who, when he refused to pick up his Oscar for Patton, he said, "I'm not going because it's a fucking meat parade."
Hell, George.
How's that for a quotable quote? Yeah.
That's good. It's a good quote.
I don't remember reading that in the local press.
Oh, it's there. You Google it's there. I get to have lunch with George some years ago at a very fancy country club in L.A. and he was a pisser. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Is he every bit of a rascal as he seems?
Yeah, he was a little bit. He was very smooth, though. He always played these sort of, rough around the edges type characters, and I think that was just who he was. But in talking to him, he was pretty polished guy. Yeah, yeah. But still, who he was. Meat parade.
I know some people said about the Ricky Gervais's thing was that, but that should be expected because that's a stick, right? That's what he does. But it's like, but the way he did it, though, I mean, he was like, he didn't give no fucking shits. He was coming out with the pedo jokes, coming out with the Epstein jokes. Yeah. Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah. And then I know you're all his friend.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just about peed myself on that one.
And then Tom Hanks was proxy cringing for everybody. Like even Leo's laughing at his shit, and Gwyneth, and the hipsters are like, yeah, this fucking guy's funny. Who cares if he, if it's lampooning me or not? But there's Tommy just cringing for everyone.
Oh man,
cringe-a-rum.
Yeah, he has dirt too, huh? Is he alleged pedo too? Or what's going on with Tom Hanks?
Hanks? Yeah. I never heard that about him. I don't know. Never heard that.
It's just weird. He has to know though. He has to know certain people, right? He has to.
Yeah, they say it's kind of a thing. I guess.
An open secret. That's the thing. Oh man, that's the thing too about that Hollywood environment. I mean, you have all these like lefties and super like progressive types, actresses going, we live in a rape culture, whatever. You live in fucking Hollywood. That's your rape culture right there. You're being raped every fucking day over there in Hollywood. Shit. Goddamn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, if you're a chick in Hollywood, it's definitely in some aspects tougher for a chick than but then I hear you hear a lot of guys have to
guys have to suck dick too. I mean
unsavory shit, exactly. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Not Harvey Weinstein knows. That's who knows.
Yeah. And you know what? And all those people who come out and they like the virtue signal, it's like, you say it, but talk is cheap. You're not gonna do fucking shit. Because you can't do fucking shit. It's roach infested, man. All the predators and the people who know who the predators are, they look the other way because they want to protect their ass, protect their job. They talk, they say one thing, guess what? They don't get any more jobs. They don't get any more gigs.
Yeah, it's always been, I guess, a company town, and it's the power that they exert in LA is pretty impressive. Somehow some time ago I was Googling around and I tripped on a story that really cracked me up. Paul Lynde, you guys remember him from Hollywood Squares? He's a pretty funny dude, And I'd never heard this, and he was sort of, say accused of murder, but it was like a kind of maybe a manslaughter thing. I don't remember exactly what, but he had a friend over for dinner, and he had a pretty plush condo, I think on Sunset or Hollywood Boulevard, 3rd, 4th floor up, whatever. And he got in a shouting match with this friend of his, and then somehow the fucking guy winds up flat on the sidewalk and dead.
Oh shit!
Four floors below. Yeah, right. And so, of course, the cops arrive, and Paul tells them that, they after they got mad, the guy ran out on his balcony, and he was so pissed off, he said, "I'm going to hang off this balcony until you apologize to me."
What? That's not
something
how
like
works.
That. Yeah. And, 40, 50 feet later, he was dead on the floor. And there was never any, any follow-up, any repercussions. And why would there be? Because, he was the star of a hugely successful syndicated show. I think it was ABC. Mm-hmm. And, did some guy probably, from the networks open up a briefcase full of greenbacks and say, make this go away? Probably. Yeah. Why not? So. Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of always been that way.
That stuff happens in the movie industry, happens in Hollywood, happens in music. I mean, if you're worth money, if you're worth a lot of money, they're gonna make sure you're protected.
Yeah.
Hell, you can let a woman drown in your Cadillac.
Who is that? Who drowned in a Cadillac? What's that story? Did I miss that?
No, I was thinking politics.
Oh,
okay. Kennedy.
Teddy. Oh no, that was an Oldsmobile.
Sorry.
Okay,
that's what threw you.
Oh.
I just assumed.
Had it been a Volkswagen with a better fit and finish, nobody would have drowned.
They ran those ads.
Well, that was a cover. That was a cover of a National Lampoon.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah.
Was that it?
If Ted Kennedy drove one of these, he'd be president today, which was pretty true.
Because Jesse probably doesn't remember, but actually VW had been running ads about Beatles floating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If they got in the water.
Yeah. For that.
Oh, they were amazing. You get one of those cars.
I know I'm the youngest one here, but I do remember that. Though I think I remember my parents telling me about that. That's how young I am here.
Well, they were amazing. You would get in one of those cars and shut the doors, and your ears would pop. It was amazing. Really.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, even today, the fit and finish on, Lexus, they're great. They're really great, but nothing compared to those VW Bugs. It was insane.
I remember guys who had those, and you'd have to crack the windows to get the doors to close.
Just about. Really. Yeah.
Damn.
At the same time, a grown man could lift the engine out with his bare hands.
Oh, yeah.
Well, a real man, not one of these soy boys today. I mean, they wouldn't be able to.
No.
They
wouldn't know where to find the engine.
They don't even know how to change tires anymore. You know that, men today, I don't know if you want to call them men, but the boys, they don't know how to change tires. They don't even know how to begin.
Isn't that sad?
That is sad. That is sad.
Yeah. Well, a lot of kids, they don't even want to drive today, and Detroit is shitting their pants over that because the industry has to survive on what's down the road, and what's down the road is kids that would rather have a hot rod phone than an automobile.
Yeah.
And really, I know so many guys like me that have kids of driving age, myself included, who are not even bothering to get licenses. Just, let me whip out my iPhone and Uber it.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I tell you what, Uber doesn't go where I want to go.
Where is that?
Well, that's the thing is a lot of times I don't know where want to go when I go out. I just want to go somewhere, and I want to decide at the last second, do I turn left or right or go straight?
I know.
And I might end up on a logging road.
That's okay.
That's okay. Will Uber allow you to pick up a hooker? I don't think so.
That's a damn good question. That's a really, That's a really good question.
Would they even know?
Yeah. In fact, if the Man Show was still around, that would be a great stunt. Getting an Uber, cruise down to a red light district and say, hey, pull over here. That one. No, not the one in the hot pants and medium clear heels. Pick her up. See what would happen. That'd be a great thing to do.
Pick her up and I'll pay for a tab. No, fuck that shit. She pays for her own tab.
Yeah. Now park over here and put a blindfold and stick your fingers in your ears while I do what I got to do.
I'm going to say Uber won't, because you have to specify your destination when you schedule the ride. So you can't get an Uber and go cruising.
I know. Fuck
You
Uber.
can do that with
I hate
taxi
Uber. I hate
cab.
all that shit.
Taxi cab doesn't give a shit where you go as long as the meter's running.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucked up. No freedom anymore. Really. Freedom to just be wild.
It's going down the drain, man. It's going down the drain.
It is. It totally is. It's so sad.
So Larry, do you know many musicians? professional musicians?
I know a few. Yeah.
So I hear this new gig law is really going to screw them over.
Gee, I guess I missed that. Tell me about the gig law.
Dude, you live in California, right? Dude, this law is fucking stupid. It's communism. Like, okay, tell them about it.
Well, basically, it's trying to get rid of contract employees, which it's really targeting Silicon Valley and how they have tens of thousands of contract employees, and the companies don't have to pay the benefits. Well, the company you're contracting through pays your benefits. It's total bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, so trying to get rid of that and fuck over Uber so that the taxi unions can be happier. So now you can't just be a contractor. You have to, like, for musicians, have to like incorporate themselves to be like session musicians. They can't, or a band, or all kinds of different things. You have to go through fucking tax attorneys and shit.
Wow. I somehow missed that entirely. But I mean, the musicians union is pretty good. I would think they have a sort of a medical benefit deal, like the Writers Guild or Screen Actors. They all have pretty good benefits. I would think that the musicians union would have a good thing, good kind of.
Yeah, but I don't know. Are the session guys? They're not union.
That's a fucking good question. I don't. What? I know that in live performances they are. Like if you got a band or whatever, you're playing a gig somewhere and your bass player shits the bed and you need somebody, you get on the blower and in 9 minutes there's another one there who knows the charts. But I don't know for session work. I've never done session work. Maybe not, which would be awful. Yeah.
Well, I know they're bitching about it.
As they should. Well, it's like government up everyone's ass,
right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be up their ass like that.
I think what this probably is, what I think, I know what this is. This is the same law as affecting freelance writers as well.
Yes.
Okay. So you're just what you're reporting on is the musical arm of that, because I know about the other end of it. Yeah. Okay.
It's fucking them up too, which is
course.
funny because they're all pro like communism fucking assholes, and now they get this. There's a law.
They don't like it so much.
Yeah.
Right.
God
yeah.
damn it,
Learn to
man.
code.
Learn to code.
I did a long time ago.
It doesn't feel so good on the other end, huh?
Really?
Now, before we move away from the Hollywood stuff,
Yeah.
would you let your daughter go pursue a career in Hollywood?
Yes, if with the stipulation that she could only appear in Kevin Spacey productions. That way,
Safest production on earth for a girl.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let me tell you something. That guy got rat fucked by everyone, and I don't care about him one way or the other. I've enjoyed some of his performances and things he's done.
He's
whatever.
a good actor. I'll give him that.
I think he's a good actor. I think he's entertaining. He's amusing. He really is amusing. And he got totally fucked over because every charge that was brought against him has been proven to be false. I mean, everyone was of age, and I heard a guy. There's a friend of mine does another podcast. He's great. You guys should check it out. His name is Darren O'Neill, and he has one called Random Thoughts, RANDUMB Thoughts. And he devoted a show to the Spacey thing, and he thoroughly researched it. And like one of the main plaintiffs against him, they had transcripts of the text messages. Apparently Spacey was like hitting on this guy in some bar in Hollywood, whatever. And the guy for like 45 minutes, he's texting his girlfriend, I guess, saying, "Oh, I can't believe now he's got his hand on my ass. Now his hand's down my pants. What should I do? Golly gee, whatever." I mean, really, for 45 minutes, it took to figure out whether you want to buy into this scene or not. I mean,
you're texting.
And you're
in
texting
the middle of it.
And you're texting exactly. You're texting in the middle of it. It's completely. it was complete horseshit. And so
what?
so funny.
How does it ever happen? Try to recreate that. Try to reenact that.
How do you do that? So
No.
Spacey, I mean, it's really, I mean, again, he's like Ricky Gervais. I'm sure I would imagine he's quite wealthy, so it doesn't matter. But still, he's entitled to a career, and he's entitled to the truth. And if he wasn't, hitting on anybody who was less than 18 years old, well, who the fuck cares? It's terrible.
The weird thing about Kevin Spacey, the people, what was it, like two people who died? Was it 2 or 3?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. They die, and all of a sudden the lawsuit's dropped. It's like, oh, and then he comes out in the House of Cards character in the what's this, Frank Underwood, doing that kill him of kindness bit. It's like, okay, dude, like
that was creepy.
Like, is Kevin Spacey in on those murders? Like, I don't think we can speculate about that. I don't know. I need to ask Nick Requeta if we can even talk about that. I don't think we can. I don't know.
I don't know.
Man. But that's weird, man. That's weird. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
fate does some weird shit, huh?
Oh, fuck. He probably knows some secrets, though. He probably knows some Clinton secrets, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I would think a guy at that level knows plenty of juicy stories. Sure.
Now, how would you feel?
Speaking of juicy.
Speaking of juicy?
Yes.
What you got?
Let me
Juicy
steal his orange.
Smollett.
Oh, him. Yeah.
You got to.
First of all, I
quiet
loved what Dave Chappelle did with that bit.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah.
That dude's gonna be so fucked.
I'm glad it's happening, too.
Yeah.
You think?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
They're going after the DA who cut him so much slack and let him off, and they've subpoenaed all his phone data.
Mm.
Yeah, he's hosed.
I hope so, man.
God, I haven't seen anything about that in a long time.
I saw the headline where, like, what they're going after him and subpoenaed for, like, I guess 1 year worth of records, and I don't know, man. It's the pressure's on. I guess he thought it was all going to be over with, but it's not.
It's not, huh? Wow.
The New York Post called it the greatest fake attack since War of the Worlds.
Wow, I like that.
That's good. Oh, and then what about Stephen King? Stephen King.
Oh,
man, that guy. I wanted to talk about his TDS, his Trump derangement syndrome, for a while now. The reason why I haven't is because in my circle of writers and authors, a lot of them you start talking about you start talking about the king. They come after you. It's like, okay, whatever. But then you start talking about Trump, and it's sort of like, look, man, it's not all that crazy, not all that bad. It's like, oh no, what are you saying? What are you saying? It's like, no. TDS is bullshit. Trump derangement syndrome is bullshit. Like, if you're the sort of person who's like every day you're obsessing with the president, what the fuck, dude? Like, write a book that's worth reading. His latest books have not been good, but from understanding,
I kind of he I read a lot of stuff that guy's written. And when he's good, he's really good.
Oh, yeah, don't be wrong there.
But he's not, and I kind of lost interest in him some years ago. He was doing, I haven't picked up a magazine in 10 years, but before that,
they still make those?
Right, don't they? Yeah. He was doing sort of just an opinion piece on the third cover of People magazine, and I'd read those things. He goes, "What the fuck's wrong with this guy?" I mean, when he got hit by that truck, it must have really walloped him good, because it was just kind of boring shit. So I kind of just kind of tuned him out. But I guess he's been canceled. He's been canceled, hasn't he? Because he has didn't say the right thing.
Well, and actually, can't Amazon? I don't know. Is the timing a coincidence? Amazon just announced they're passing on his Tower series.
Are you serious? No
That
way.
can't-
Yeah.
No
that
way.
can't be. Really?
Yeah.
Well, hey, look
Why?
at that. Look at
Why?
that in the world where they pass on this Tower series, but Deadman Stone's
Why?
still allowed to publish his. Okay, so go ahead.
Was there a reason? Was it because of these offensive tweets, or what? What was the reason?
No, they didn't mention that at all. They just said they couldn't. Basically, they were saying they couldn't figure out how to do it right,
All right, let me put this tweets on here on the screen too.
which is surprisingly honest for a film company.
Yeah.
Well,
That's really
being that it's a
bizarre.
Stephen King property, it's kind of hard to turn what he writes into film anyway. In a way
is.
that's good. Okay. Anyway, here's the tweet we're talking about. The original tweet.
Okay.
Stephen King. As a writer, I'm allowed to nominate just 3 categories: Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Screenplay. For me, the diversity issue, as it applies to individual actors and directors anyway, did not come up. That said, that's already enough right there, right? He's already in hot
Yeah.
water because of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll pull up the other one. Waiting. There we go. I would never consider diversity in matters of art, only quality. It seems to me that to do otherwise would be wrong. And that's what got him.
Yes. So he's toast.
Yeah.
Now, I don't like seeing anyone get canceled over what they say. I don't know. It's kind of weird about that, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, he says that. That's his opinion,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he's Mr. Hounding Trump about his wall. At the same time, he's living in a house that's gated. It's like, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Man, it's easy to say and all that nonsense on Twitter when you have a shit ton of money and you don't care. It's like, okay.
But you got to wonder, if this Ricky Gervais thing is might just be,
Leaking out kind of thing.
leaking out, or even maybe sort of the shot heard round the world,
Mm-hmm.
because there's this guy that just gave him both barrels and said what the fuck he wanted to say,
And he walked away clean.
and he walked away. Well, he's not clean. I mean, I bet you his career's, he doesn't have much career left, but who needs a career when you're worth $100 million? But perhaps that might embolden others to say what they want to say. I don't know, but it's kind of, you wonder what's going to turn the tide, if it can be turned, if maybe what that guy did was a beginning. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see.
The thing that people in New York and LA and DC don't seem to realize is the outrage culture is such a fraction of a tiny percentage of the population.
Yeah. It's
Twitter.
Twitter.
They're very loud and they get a lot of attention, but it's not a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just get off Twitter. Don't listen to Twitter. That is.
Right.
And I say that as someone who uses that to kind of reach out to certain people because it helps at times, but at the same time, it's where you get flack. Hell, when Dead Man's Tone published, okay, so I published books, right? I had a book published called Psycho Holiday for Christmas.
I love that title.
Psycho Holiday, right? It's great. Psycho Holiday. Guess what? That's one of the first times where I had someone come at me and say, call me an ableist for using the word psycho. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
No shit.
How's that an ableist? Because I am somehow stereotyping insane people. I'm like, well, fucking insane people are insane. I was doubling down. I was having fun with it. I was like, I'm just poking her back. I was like, okay. But it's like, I'm not gonna take that seriously. I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'll change the name. First off, there was a reference to a Pantera song, Psycho Holiday. The other thing is,
Right.
even if it wasn't, it's the title we're going with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had an episode I did called Psycho Circus, which actually was first, what was it? I think it was a Motley Crue album, wasn't it? Psycho Circus. I didn't invent that phrase, but I love it.
Oh, but check this out.
I love
check
Psychos.
This out. Check this out.
Yeah.
I doubled down like this. I told the artist of the cover, hey, turn one of the kids on the cover into a crippled kid. We're gonna do that. And we did that. Fuck yeah.
You guys should get Crippled Jesus on your show. You guys know you're Dick show.
Yeah,
fans.
I'm a dick
You know,
dickhead. Yeah.
He gives good.
Didn't he get laid? I thought he got laid. Last
Did
episode.
he?
I don't know.
I hope he did. Good for him.
He did.
I hope
I think he did. Finally.
He's a good kid. A lot of fun.
Yeah, he's fun. Yeah, it'd be cool. Oh wait.
Yeah.
You got a favorite horror movie?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I like some and I hate others. Like to me, like the scariest, perhaps ever, was The Exorcist. And then some that are heralded as being high water marks in horror just made me laugh. Like Silence of the Lambs. I mean, I thought it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. I was never frightened for a nanosecond.
It was pretty funny.
It was so stupid. This guy's in a fucking cage with a hockey mask on his head, and he's strapped to a gurney, and he's like this middle-aged guy, and everybody's shitting their pants. Oh my god, it was so stupid. But yeah, I mean, some I like, some I don't. I guess it depends. But I like The Exorcist.
Wait.
Yeah.
Well, you like The Exorcist?
Yeah, I like that.
But isn't that also kind of like a comedy with your mom sucks cocks in hell?
Absolutely, yes. The pea soup puking and everything, and yeah, there was a lot of funny stuff. And you're right. You're absolutely right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it it holds up well. It's still all these.
They did Blair Witch level marketing decades before Blair Witch because they were releasing all kinds of bullshit stories about
That's
what
true.
happened on the set and all of this scary shit and the idea that people were fainting in the aisles and throwing up in the theaters and all this kind of shit was going around.
That's true.
And just to get, because people then were like, and then the church protests and all this kind of shit to get on the news.
Sure. Yeah. But the book was very good. And interestingly enough, the book, you almost didn't need a screenplay. The movie very closely mirrored the text of that book, which is kind of cool. Which is for another great one of my favorite movies. It's not a horror movie, but it's pretty scary. Is Deliverance. And that was again, almost just filmed from the pages of the book. You really didn't need a screenplay. It was so well written and film ready, camera ready, and there's a lot of funny stuff in that too. Squeal like a pig,
right?
Okay,
you got a pretty mouth.
That's right.
Yeah. So one thing I like about your show is I like how you're true about how you feel about women, the women you like. What do you call them? Pointy chicks.
Pointy chicks, yeah, pointy.
Okay. Can you think of a good or your favorite pointy chick of horror?
Pointy chick of horror.
Yeah.
That's a damn good question. Pointy chick in the horror genre. Let me think about that a little bit.
What's the definition of a pointy chick?
A pointy chick, is a certain look that some women have that tends to, make men do really stupid things. And generally, if you look at like the archetype, I think of perhaps one of the ultimate pointy chicks. There's a lot of pointy chicks, but one of the templates would be the Victoria's Secret model named Adriana Lima. And, if you Google her, you'll see what she looks like. She's Brazilian. She's tall. She's lean. And basically everything on a pointy chick, with the possible exception of her ass, sort of comes to a point. Her eyes tend to be almond shaped and sort of, come to points at the corners. Her nails, her hands, her feet, her boobs, nice pointy ends on those. And so they're just all pointy. They tend not to be Rubenesque. They tend not to be that voluptuous, although there are occasionally see some girls who can be, of a substantial weight class and still manage to be pointy. That does happen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that look.
So cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me put her on the screen real fast. See.
Adriana Lima, Eva Mendes is very pointy. They come along now and then.
Oh, with horror.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Well, Michelle Pfeiffer's nice. Is she a pointy chick or is she just nice?
I guess, in her Scarface days, she was kind of pointy. But I wouldn't put her up there in the pantheon of pointy.
I put you on the spot on this one. This one.
Sophia Loren, Sophia Loren was very pointy.
Oh yeah.
What was it? The chick that was married to Sinatra, Ava Gardner, was extremely pointy.
Monica Bellucci, if we're
Bellucci, yeah, oh yeah, big time pointy. That's right. Yeah, they have a look that's sort of unmistakable.
I don't know.
Interesting terminology.
I like the term, and I like that you're very thorough on
Yeah.
this. You're not just gonna spit out a name because it takes a lot. And I'm trying to think who would fit that. There's plenty of big racks in horror, and that's one thing we talked about on the show.
A lot of people
jobs.
think that they make that sort of they connect those dots, and it's not necessarily so. A big rack does not a pointy chick make.
Right.
It really doesn't. It's also, beyond the physical, it's sort of like I'll give you for instance, like cheerleaders, right, are never pointy. Right, that whole sort of that image of the baby doll thing, a chick with a lollipop. No, not pointy. Pointy chicks are by definition, they never look underage. Even if they're 19, they look 29. They look mature. They look have a certain vintage. They look like they know what time it is. There's nothing innocent ever about a pointy chick. They look like fuck monsters.
It sounds like there's a fierceness to these.
Exactly. There's a ferocity to pointy chicks. Correct. Yeah.
You know what? I think I'll leave that question for the chat then. If I don't know, we got to think about this.
Morticia,
big time pointy chick.
Okay, well there we go. Hey,
yeah,
Morticia,
big time. Yeah, a lot of Bond girls tend to be pointy.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm glad Morticia got the pick. That's good.
So, and then you could, if we're going to stick in that television time frame,
yes,
contrast Morticia with Jeannie.
Yeah, Jeannie was Jeannie was delectable.
Absolutely.
Absolutely just cute as could be, but really not that pointy, because she had a certain, I guess, could you say innocence about her, whatever, or good nature. The other thing too is a lot of pointy chicks tend to come off like bitches, like they could be really difficult.
Ooh. So you like that scowl? You like that scowl?
A little bit. A bit, yeah.
Kind of like an ice queen. Like you gotta break that scowl. You gotta, like, she has to earn that smile. Like she wants to earn that. You gotta. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. all right. I like that. I like that sort of thing. Now, man. Okay. Now,
I do almost every Friday on Facebook and Twitter. I shouldn't say maybe it's more like every other Friday. I call it Pointy Chick Friday.
Yeah.
And I start Googling, maybe Thursday evening, looking for, the right women. And my listeners have come to have an appreciation for that, and immediately can identify who is pointy and who is not. I'll tell you, super pointy chick, super pointy.
All right.
I discovered her somehow in a music video on YouTube. She's from somewhere in Russia, the Ukraine. I'm not sure where. Definitely Eastern Europe.
That's like the land of pointy chicks, though, right?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Okay.
And her name is Daria Zaritskaya, Zaritskaya. Okay. And
it's the first name that comes up when you type in Daria Z.
Holy shit.
It is.
Oh my God.
Oh, God.
And not only is she stunningly hot and pointy, she does these cover songs of everything from Guns N' Roses to you name it. I mean, you mentioned Pantera before. I mean, she can shred. She's got a great rock rasp. She can really move, and she's phenomenal. And I featured her more than once as the pointy chick Friday chick because man, she never disappoints. Never.
There she is on the screen there. I cannot say her name again. Daria Zarzakaya. But she does look great. She looks lovely.
Doesn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesse failed his phonics courses in school.
I did. I did. It's not even a bit, but I play it into that it's a bit.
Yeah, there she's pretty smoking hot.
She is. She is. I agree with that. Okay. Yeah. Being that this is a horror-related podcast in some ways.
Yes.
Let's say your daughter is gonna, I guess, go camping in the woods. Like if your daughter was gonna go to Camp Crystal Lake, like, would you have any? What would you say about that? Would you have any advice for her? Would you stop her? Like, what would you do?
Yeah, she actually did that a couple of times. She had, I think it was in like maybe 7th or 9th grade, somewhere around there. They had this outdoor school thing. And where the hell was it? It might have been over in Catalina Island. I'm not sure. It was somewhere, some relatively remote place. And but I think it was kind of more like glamping than camping.
Oh, okay.
I think there was a pretty plush tent on a platform and whatever. And probably too much adult supervision. Because I think that's part of the element of the fun of that is knowing, kind of run wild without somebody, looking over your shoulder every second. So, she did that. But, my girls, I've always taught them to be, reactive if things get dicey. And, they're pretty good with their fists. And
Good.
So I really don't worry that much about them. They're not timid.
Good with their fists. Do they keep a knife on them? Somehow.
Yeah, they don't. They probably should.
Yeah. Go to Camp Crystal Lake.
They can handle a weapon. They can handle a gun. I've taken them shooting.
Oh, that's good.
And,
that's good.
That's
good.
I want them to know these things. Yes.
That sounds very similar to my story with my daughters.
How old are your daughters?
They are in their 30s.
Okay.
And, they've got jobs and cars and, their own
Guns.
insurance and guns. And
Well, good. Congratulations, Dad. You did a good job.
Yeah, look at that. I like that.
Yeah.
they've faced down their own bullies.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I don't know if they're pointy or not. I don't know. It's not for me to say.
You know what? That's not
It's not a dad thing.
It's not a dad thing. Not part of the criteria for a good, good
Right.
daughter. But some guy might find him pointy. That's okay.
But he taught them self-defense. That's important.
It's very important, and I think that's kind of a lost thing in so much in the generation of. How many times do you see these fucking videos on YouTube or whatever, and somebody's getting the snot pounded out of them, and nobody's intervening. They're just recording their iPhone.
Right.
It's so fucked up. It's really awful. It really
Don't
is.
get me wrong. I like a good street fight. If it's a good one,
I do too.
I'll watch it. I'll watch that shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen some epic ones.
Yeah. But it's like, come on. The reason why they don't jump in is because they'll get their ass kicked too. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of it, but there's also, people don't automatically know how to deal with a crisis. A great swath of society, they're deer in the headlights when anything out of the ordinary happens. They have no fucking clue what to do.
That's true. That's very true. Do you think it was always that way, or is that something?
I think it always was, and I think there have been at times groups and institutions that have tried to train up young people to know how to deal with shit. Boy Scouts in the old days, that's a lot of what they used to teach.
That's right.
How to deal with unexpected things, like getting lost in the wilderness or having a broken bone on a hike or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to survive very long anymore.
No, probably not. Which is sad because those skills, like where else are they going to learn those sorts of skills? No, when I was in Boy Scouts, because being the younger one here, they didn't teach me that. They taught me how to make a weighted car for I guess race car derby. Or whatever.
Pinewood Derby.
Pinewood Derby, yeah. They didn't teach me how to fix my a broken bone or anything like that. You know, they're like, just camp out in the cold and you'll be okay. I think that might have been a badge. I'm not sure, but.
Well, there's a winter camp badge. I remember getting that, and it damn near cost me toes.
Yeah.
Well, I think, in many parts of our society today, the whole notion of self-determination and taking charge of a situation is frowned upon, right?
Right.
Yeah,
you're considered there's always, call the authorities, but the authorities aren't always there.
Right.
Exactly. But that's the way people are raising their kids. Don't intervene. Don't look out for yourself. Just dial 911. And as they say, when seconds count, the cops are always minutes away.
Oh, I was absolutely going to say that.
Yeah, if that. Yeah.
But it's parents are largely to blame for this becoming a larger problem because they don't let their kids suffer any consequences.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Oh, man,
they're in there intervening on every fucking little thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You gotta let them learn lessons, man. You gotta let them learn their trial.
I remember when my oldest daughter was, I don't know, I think sixth grade, and she called up one morning, "Oh, I forgot my project," and I said, "Yeah, well, maybe you'll remember it next time."
Right?
Yeah.
And she did. I never got that call again.
If I ran the educational system, I would make a requirement before, graduation from grammar school. Every male student would have to sustain a pretty fucking good punch to the face. Good enough to knock
Plato.
That'd be good.
Really.
That was Plato's idea.
Well, Plato was right about that, because there are so many people, and I find it really, really troubling that you see these assholes in Washington who are talking about defense and budgets and combat, and they have never, ever in their fucking lives had so much as a schoolyard scuffle. They're not qualified. Until you've been involved in violence, shut the fuck up, because you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Even on a small level.
And there's a lot of kids these days, they'll talk shit. They'll talk a lot of tough shit.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't even know how to throw a punch.
They don't know how to throw a punch. They don't know how to,
Yeah.
So it's very troubling.
Yeah.
And I think that's a more recent thing. It's probably because, America hasn't had a really good war in 70 years.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have another one, but I ran back down like a bunch of pussies.
World War III. What happened to that World War III? That just kind of fizzled, didn't it?
That was the shortest world war in history.
I ran, freaked out, shot a Ukrainian plane, and
What?
Yeah.
Those fucking idiots. I can't believe that.
Fucking idiots.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God. Fucking idiots.
But the memes were great. That was fun.
The memes are great. Yeah. Yeah.
And once again, the world does not end, and I'm in trouble with the loan sharks.
Right.
Oh, I loved your episode on the end of the world stuff and the predictions. And
Thank you.
That was so much fun.
And
Absolutely fascinating.
The guy who ran that game show, Damascus Minsmeyer, he's the guy who's been doing my covers lately. He's the guy who did the Psycho Holiday cover. Great artist.
Okay.
Great artist, man. I gotta good stuff.
You did a great job. Those questions were wonderful, and
he always
it was
does.
a lot of fun.
Man,
We actually got some right this time.
right.
Yeah, you guys did very well.
Oh, thank you.
So many times we get his quiz show stuff, and we're like, oh, Jesus, I have no idea.
Oh God, the worst one was the horror movie quotes, where afterwards it's like, oh man, I don't think I can say I'm a horror guy anymore. It's only got like 50% right. Oh shit. Oh, that's embarrassing, man. I felt the heat. I was like, God damn, Damascus, you're like, I have to give you the crown, man. Like, God damn.
Yeah.
Man. Well, Larry from that Larry show. It was great having you on, man.
Hey,
enjoyed talking about
thank
Hollywood, the death of Hollywood, how it's decaying and all that, and fatherhood a little bit, and it's good. It's good. It's good.
Well, thank you so much. It's been so much fun hanging with you guys, and I'm glad you turned me on to your show because I'll be a regular listener now. You get a great show. You get a great chemistry. It's interesting. It's fun. I laughed out loud. I rarely laugh out loud, and it's wonderful. So thank you.
One question I forgot to ask you. I always ask my guests about paranormal stuff, but Tammy G's not here, and she's the paranormal person. So it feels weird to ask you if she's not here, right?
It's okay.
So I'll tell you, wait, it's okay? Right. Okay, let's do it. You got a paranormal experience? You got something happening in the sheets? Well, I mean, not like that.
No, I mean like ghosts.
Paranormal experience. I'll tell you what. This is really kooky. This is really, really kooky.
All right.
I don't believe in much of that, but I guess you should. I mean, I believe in God, so he's kind of paranormal, right? But so why wouldn't
kind of is, yeah.
Kind of is. But I did an episode wrapped around an experience I had as a guy, late teenager in the Catskill Mountains in New York. And I'd been out fishing with a cousin of mine, and we went to this roadhouse for a beer at lunch. And this guy that was the bartender was a fascinating guy. He owned this bar, but he also had owned a string of racehorses and several apartment buildings. He done really well for himself, for kind of a backwoods a businessman, And so he did magic, and he came. It was no one in the place but myself, my cousin, and this guy. His name was Allie. And so he starts doing these magic tricks, like the foam rubber rabbits and disappearing coins and so on and so forth. And I'm not a magic freak, but a magic buff. There's a place in LA I go to all the time called the Magic Castle. I see a lot of magic, and I can usually figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah.
So the guy's doing all this stuff, and he says, and he goes, I can tell you've seen a lot of this before. I said, yeah, well, I have. I've seen a lot, pretty much everything you've done. And he goes, well, so you're not impressed by my powers? And I said, well, you're a great sleight of hand guy. You're a good mechanic. You're very good. So he goes, well, let me show you something else. And so he says, look, take this deck of cards, okay? And he hands me nothing, right? He goes, just play along. I said, okay. He said, now I want you to shuffle them up real good, and then cut several times, then shuffle them again. And then I want you to pick one card and memorize it, okay? And then put it back in the deck and hand it to me. And I'll do a fan right here in the bar, and I'll tell you what your card was.
And it's this imaginary deck.
This is an imaginary deck. There is nothing there. Nothing. Okay?
Okay.
So I go through all this theater with him, and I'm feeling like an idiot, And so... But I figure I'll play along. Why not? So I'm not going to think of Suicide Jack or Suicide King or One-Eyed Jack or an Ace of Spades. I think I'm going to pick up a fucking bland card, something really dull. And the card I thought of was the 5 of clubs. So I hand him back, and he does this fan about back, and he flips the fan back and forth. There's nothing there, and then he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, you forgot to put the 5 of clubs back in this deck, buddy."
Jesus.
And I really, the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And I'd been told afterwards by my uncle that this dude had spent a lot of time in India and traveled the world and so forth. And I mean, that's the only thing I can tell you in my life that was absolutely fucking inexplicable. And I might add, this place I go to in LA, which is a world famous magic club. I've run this same story by any number of world-class magicians, guys that play the big rooms in Vegas, right? And they all go, I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. They have no clue.
That's fucking wild. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So he's like a mind reader. Like,
I don't know what it was. I don't know. I mean, he could have gotten lucky. It was a 1 in 52 shot. But those are pretty long odds, but he did it.
The only explanation I can come up with is some form of Ericksonian linguistic hypnosis where he planted that card in your brain without you knowing it.
NLP, huh?
That sounds practical. That makes a lot of sense.
Maybe that's it.
Yep.
Now I feel stupid.
It's still a great story.
See,
that's awesome.
He's a CIA plant. He's a CIA agent, like working on you, testing something on you.
Maybe dosed my beer with fucking acid, and it was
right.
MK Ultras.
Right. That'd be cool.
Really short-term dosage.
that was good. That was a good story. Good story, Larry. All right, man.
Thanks.
Larry, thank you so much. Guys, ladies,
Thank
you so
you,
much for
guys.
listening. Press the like button,
A
share,
pleasure.
subscribe. If you're listening to iTunes, rate it, I guess, if you care. Y'all take it easy.